Aloha, I'm Desmond Hakias. I'm the host of Healing with Aloha Podcast. And on this podcast, we talk about healing and having hope. We talk about grief, mental health, healing, and about having passion. And today's guest, this is Denisse. I am grateful to have her on here. She's married, she's a mom, she's working on her inner child and through art. And the backstory is, we met through TikTok, and now we spend more time here on Instagram. But with further ado, guys, this is Denisse. Hi, Denisse.
Hi, Desmond. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to finally get to talk to you and not just message back and forth on Instagram. Yeah, it was such a blessing that we connected on TikTok. I've met so many amazing people, and you're one of my top favorite people that I've met on there. So thank you for having me.
Too. Who would have known that you could build like a friendship with someone who you've never seen in real life, but that you guys can have like similar interests. And so that's why I tell people, don't underestimate social media, because it can be a great place to connect with people who are like you, that you would never know had you not given them a chance to get to know you.
So true. I agree completely. And I found the best supportive friends on social media more than like my real life friends. So I completely agree with that, because we have the same similar interests, and it's true what they say that your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yeah.
And you're part of my tribe.
Thank you. And I am so honored to have you a part of my tribe. One of the things that I know that you discuss through art is about healing your inner child. Can you explain to people why this was something that was important to you?
Yes, healing my inner child has been really important, because I feel that I never got to experience like a happy childhood. I feel like I was maybe a little bit parentified. I didn't get the emotional attention, so I felt a little bit emotionally neglected. And so I kind of feel like I had to, grow up a little bit too soon. And so now that I'm an adult and I have my own daughter, I've noticed that I've been able to be childlike with her. So then I noticed that maybe I need to heal my little Denisse. And so the arts has been an outlet or a way that I can experience that, because as a child, I loved the arts. And so now as an adult, I can finally, take my power back, and I'm in charge of my time, who I hang out with and what I do. And so it's been a blessing having the arts in my life, where I can, get my own art supplies now.
Yeah, no. And we're talking about like with the inner child, like some of us, the reality is we've all gone through our own life struggles and challenges and whatnot. And some of us more than others. And you don't always know that about people, but
Mhm.
like it's important for us to self-reflect and to know what it is that we've been through, and to be able to start giving yourself freedom.
Yes.
Freedom to express yourself. And everybody's going to have a different passion, everybody's going to have a different interest, and it just so happened yours is art.
Very, very true. That's true, because I have friends that their outlets are, they love hiking, and that's a lot of times they say whatever you like to do as a child is part of your passion. Or like my husband loves sports, so him doing that. So it's also a great de-stressor too, I noticed too, whatever it is that we're interested in.
Yes.
So art has like been my super de-stressor. It's like where I could just breathe and, relax. It's
and I think it's important, like we need to give ourselves the ability to relax and to have self-compassion, because we're not just here to just work,
Yes.
just exist, but like to give ourselves the ability to enjoy life too.
That's true. And it's good to recharge our batteries, and then, whatever projects or adulting or chores we have going on or goals, it gives you a little bit more of a boost. It's like a fuel because you recharged, and it's amazing. It kind of helps. Even like 10 minutes can make such a big difference.
Yeah. What one of the things you love to do is paint.
Mm-hmm.
What inspires you to, like, when you sit down and you have like this blank paper, blank canvas, what inspires you to start creating whatever it is you're focused on in that moment?
My most favorite thing or favorite inspiration is nature. Lately, it's been nature, but ever since I was a little kid, I've loved nature. So things like flowers, like seascapes, just nature in general. And then also I've been doing, I did like a couple watercolors where it's like makeup, like a picture of a girl's face in makeup.
Mhm.
Because I remember as a child, this is really crazy, but when I was in second grade, my mom had this like makeup pack. It was like all these lipstick colors. So I would close the door and I would try on every single color. So I just love lipstick. So I thought, found a way that I can incorporate my passion for like lip color into my
Right.
art too. So I kind of, I guess it's just things that I've been interested in since I was a child. And nature, I feel that is one of my biggest like inspirations, because there's beauty everywhere, and it gives you a moment to like step outside of yourself and experience the world and like the details and the beauty.
Hmm.
And so with art, I get to actually like take that in and just like sit with it and like experience it and admire it even more. So I love nature.
Yeah, I love nature too. I think it allows you to just have that calmness, like I'm on an island, so then I get to go to the
Mhm.
beach or go to the mountains and whatnot. And there's just that specialness when you're in nature that can be so healing, for
Yes.
you, that sometimes you don't know what you're thinking or feeling, but then it allows you to just breathe and take it all in at that time. And I think, when I look at how you go about doing your art, you definitely have, I do art, but I feel like you have the ability to learn to do dimensions and whatnot, and like play with it in that manner. And I think the depth that you can do with your art makes it really fun and dynamic.
Oh, thank you so much. And I really love your artwork too, because I feel like we just get to just, the most important thing is have fun and just let it flow. Because when we're kids, that's part of being childlike. And I feel sometimes, I don't know if it happens to you, but sometimes I'll just just take my watercolors or acrylic paints and I just like let it flow and let my, not you really use my thinking part of my brain, but
Yes.
use more like my flowing or my emotion, like my heart a little bit more into it. And there's times I'm like, oh, wow, I don't think I could create that. But because I wasn't putting too many rules or focusing too much on like the facts and the thinking part.
Yes.
And when you just like vibe and let it flow, it's like our inner child is amazing. I feel like they're so wise. They're a lot more wiser than we give them, credit for.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like our inner child just wants to be expressive.
Yeah.
Sometimes like I do like, it's not the rainbow, but like I just do like a wave, different
Mhm.
waves, different colors and stuff. I don't know where it's going, but it's like you feel good. You know what I mean? And I think
Mhm.
it's important for people to allow themselves to feel good. And we can be so stressed out, and we need to be able to allow ourselves to feel good and to want to um, go deep within ourselves and let it come out without the judgment that we can have for ourselves or other people can have for us.
Yes, that is so true. That's the biggest thing that I had to work on, judgment, because I've loved the art since I was a child, but I never really, got the technical part of it down,
Mm,
like the techniques and how to give it, like the 3D effect or how to do my shading the right way or blending. And so I feel that me being in like my adult part and judging myself,
mm.
comparison, seeing like these professional artists create these amazing pieces. And I'm like, oh, mine's like the equivalent of a stick figure compared to what they did. And so I feel like that held me back from like enjoying my life and having the freedom. And so now I'm just like, nope, it's my inner child where you do what we want. And there's abstract painting, and I feel that my biggest blessing has been that sometimes I feel like my paintings that I think are insignificant can inspire others, to them want to also try the arts and or come back to them. And so I think that has been my biggest blessing, that I didn't think I could make a difference in anybody's lives. And it started with making a difference in my life, and then I can help others. That has been, like, I think my greatest joy about stepping outside of my comfort zone and out of that comparison.
Yeah, no, and I think it's important for us to wanna step out of our comfort zone. It's funny
Mhm,
because people will be like, I can't paint. Like, oh, what do you
mhm.
mean? And it's because they're looking at it like from a technique wise.
Yes.
And
Mhm,
and they need to understand that uh this is, you don't have to post it,
mhm.
you can just create, and it's just for you to enjoy, to appreciate, and just like again, relax and have fun, but there's that fear of, I have to be good. But then it's like, what is good? Like, I like abstract
Mhm.
because it's forgiving, and it doesn't have to, it's not like I'm making a landscape or I'm making like something accurate, because I can't, I'm not good in drawing humans. That's why I'll lean into just doing hearts, rainbows, and whatnot, flowers. But
Mhm.
does that make sense? Like, it's like adults, we have to give ourselves that permission to just not
Yes.
have to be perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And then I feel like it's good that you meant, like, just like hearts or like whatever it is you want to start with. I feel like sometimes even just the colors
Mm,
can bring so much like healing or so much freedom, or like, what I mean? Like sometimes the colors just speak to you. And there's just so much, that's something that I want to kind of get into and learn more about, like color theory and the meaning of the colors and the emotions. And so, because color is powerful, and like I also love abstract, where it's not, I feel like there's less judgment, but then also I feel like maybe there's a little bit more healing to others. It like draws people in, and then people interpret things different. And with abstract, everybody sees their own thing, and it kind of becomes almost personalized to
yeah.
the viewer themselves, like whoever's taking it in. And I feel like there's just so much freedom in that.
Yeah, no, and sometimes like people don't um necessarily know what they're feeling.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
they when they put it out on paper, then they're like, oh, okay, what is this? Because it's so deep within them. But then when they give themselves like that free flow, then
Mhm.
it's like, oh, okay, I didn't know that was within me. And it's that self-discovery, uh, that we need to allow ourselves to get to
Yes.
allow us to heal creatively.
Mhm. That is so true. It does make it so you get to know yourself a little bit more, and then, and it also helps you connect with other people too. And you get I've noticed that, like, now that I've stepped outside and I try to do more of the arts, it's so amazing that I feel like I've been able to connect with more people too, who share the same journey as that I do, that are also healing their inner child, or also healing whatever is going on. And it's just like so cool that we can just support each other. And that's why, like, with you, I feel like you're one of those people that we can encourage and support each other. And sometimes you don't even need to use words, just sharing, the artwork is like enough. It kind of, sometimes that speaks more than words,
No,
you know?
I agree, because we weren't always necessarily given the opportunity to share our thoughts and feelings. And
Mhm.
so this is just a great way for us to do it, and know that the people who get it will understand, and the people who don't, it's okay, because it's not always that we know what we're feeling inside.
Mhm. That's so true.
um what is one thing that you're learning about accepting yourself, that you feel like you've learned, like, gained now than, when you first started getting more into art?
I feel that something that I've been learning is kind of how I think and how, like how you said, how I feel. And I've been giving myself permission to do that because I also grew up being like a people pleaser.
Mm.
And so with art, it's I feel like, well, I can create whatever I feel in my heart without constantly thinking, well, am I going to get the approval of this other person?
Mm.
So that's been giving me freedom to step out of that people pleasing, because I grew up where it's just, like I don't want to sit down and create and do a flower and in the back of my mind be thinking, well, are everybody, people who love to paint roses, are they gonna like it too?
Oh.
Or,
Yeah.
or like I already hear the almost hear like the criticism, like before I even start. And I feel like I've been learning to give myself freedom, and it's helped my confidence too. And being like, you know what, I can do this, I can accomplish it. And sometimes it takes me several practices. Like there's some things where I'm thinking in a way that maybe I should start posting in my like Instagram stories some of the things that are not so good. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
some of
yeah,
the
yeah.
fails. Because I
No,
feel
that
like,
would be good, like your bloopers, or
like the bloopers of art, because I feel like in this world of like, social media, a lot of times we post, well, this is like, like what I
the
consider
best.
my best work. But I feel like, you know, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes with that, as you're working through that inner criticism that kind of stops you from doing your best work and letting it flow. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's helped my confidence and that inner critic of other people judging me.
No, I think that's a great idea, the story time behind it, because like you said, like the struggle of, man, this is not what I was trying, like aiming for. And
Mhm.
then you're like, okay, let's try it again, and then you get to what I get to see on Instagram. But like the way you process to get to, some things you're like, okay, fine, but
Mhm.
other like when you're working on a project, you persevere and you're like, no, I want to like work on it in this way. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But I think that would be a great idea, because we need to let people know that, when we're working on something, it doesn't just come naturally, off the bat. When you first try something, it's like, okay, voila, like I did this.
Mhm.
So I think it'll be great for you, every now and then to show it in your story on how you you were able to create this, and what the transformation was to get there.
That's true. That's true. 'Cause sometimes you just have to, dust yourself off and try again. And it's true.
Yeah. And I think that's what, we want people to understand, is that, healing yourself, it's not gonna just be like easy, but it's a process, and it's an ongoing process, and you're not going to always be able to understand how you're feeling inside. But when you feel that connection to yourself, that you can have art as a venue to express yourself.
Mhm. That's true. And even in my healing journey, there has been like, like also the bloopers where there's some days where you feel like, oh wow, I'm back at step one, and then so you just like dust yourself off and like, think about the positive things and how far you've come. And it's kind of like art. I never thought about it that way, but I've experienced that in my own healing journey in my everyday emotions, because there's, triggers everywhere sometimes,
Hmm.
depending on how sensitive you are. 'Cause sometimes when you're working on a certain, emotion or wound, then you're more vulnerable.
Hmm.
So then you do have to, stop and look at the positive and dust yourself off and just try again. And so even there's been little bloopers, but we get through it. And just like the arts, it's just, stepping into it and trying and being gentle with yourself, and you get through.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a great lesson right there, is like you said, you just keep trying, and then, you know, you can always start all over again. Like there's nobody lives a perfect life, and you know, where our healing is, it's different, and it's going to look different, like art. You know,
Mhm.
we're all going to have our own way of expressing ourselves. um so I'm grateful to have had you on here to talk about healing your inner child and how to use art. Can you tell people what is the best way for them to follow you, to see your art, and you know, maybe you can connect with another artist, and you know, help people to be inspired to use art to healing their inner child?
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for having me. But you can find me on Instagram. It's the main uh, social media account that I use for my art. And it is at Denisse with two S's dot Alondra dot art. And I'll hopefully try to post some bloopers on there too. But thank you.
Thank you. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us here on Healing with Aloha. Subscribe to the podcast. Have a great day, guys. Aloha.